This project is titled Semiotics, Signs and Symbols with Art. This is a project that revolves around your identity and meaning making. So, humans have the ability for conscious thought, decision making, emotions, and ability to express ideas through social discourse, all of which are highly significant to learning. So, what is semiotics and what is a symbol? In art, a symbol is usually a solid, recognizable thing, an animal, a plant, an object, etc. That stands for something that would be hard to show in a picture or a sculpture. A force of nature, for example, or an idea. A symbol can also stand for someone's whole story. Now, in semiotics, it is the study of work of art signs and symbols, either individually or grouped in sign systems that can give us more insight from the work sourcing and meaning. All painters work in a pictorial language followed by a set of standards, basics, and rules of picture making. And so with that, to understand connotation, which means that the work of art, it inspires or brings about a reaction to the viewer, the listener, or reader of an association or relationship. It's internalized and emotional to something outside of the work of art. So, how can art and technology help heal a society? Well, by first acknowledging the self first in relation to our own experiences and emotions and thinking about it critically and applying that understanding of self, we become more engaged and empathetic towards others, especially in a digital realm where we are engaging with other learners and advocates in these digital spaces. It's more of a highly connected world that we're living in now. So when we look at semiotics and how it relates to visually, some examples could be when we look at water. Now, when water has this symbolism of wisdom and life and power, it's constant in constant motion. However, it does give this presence of pressure and mystery. And when you look at the color of water, it's naturally blue, which is then you can think of it as trust and wisdom and bringing a sense of confidence is where the color blue connotes these emotions and feelings. And so when you look at paintings or images, it could be digitally done or um, painted, however medium that the artist chooses, each one will reflect a different um, emotion and different connotation in its work. So each woman in these artworks, it represents a woman in water. However, each one connotes a different emotion when you look at the coloring and the position that the woman is in. The symbolism of water, it's vast and it's as well as all water in the world. Water meanings go deep as the deepest sea, from dreams to intuition, magic, and mystery. Water holds this endless inspiration. And if you think about it, much of the deepest waters are still unexplored. That makes the meaning of water full of potential as an artist. If you look at an apple, now an apple is has this representation of, this divine gift of prosperity. It also holds connotations of temptation. And as an educator, what's one of the first things you think of, going back to elementary school? I'm going to give my, teacher an apple. It has this pose of education. And when you look at the coloring of apple, well, apples can, red means strength and power and passion and desire and love, whereas the green apple could potentially mean poison or greed. It's all in the context of how you use it in your artwork. An apple, this juicy and ordinary fruit is paradoxical object in the visual arts. This is a mysterious and ambiguous symbol that reveals a mass of meanings and unites many opposing messages. Apples can be easily called a double faced and eternal symbol. For many centuries, they have been representing both good and evil, passing through all of the nuances of one another, meaning depending on the era and the accepted worldview at that time. So you have to think about the context of which you were using symbolism in what is going on in the world around you during that time. We can, look at artwork from 1485 in Botticelli's work where um, the apples in this scene is because it's set in the garden of Hesperides, where the golden apples show immortality. We can look at more recent work such as 1964, The Son of Man by Rene Magritte. And, this definitely emphasizes a dual meaning of sweet and sour image. The surrealist painter, where the apple was meant for the personification of original sin and life temptation in this work. When we think of a butterfly as a symbol, it's a symbol of transformation and the ability to grow and the ability to change your mind. So with that, I'm going to bring in a video real quick on the symbolism of butterflies.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Art Speak, in which I share the message, meaning, and symbolism behind the art that I make. Today I'm going to be talking with you about the painting behind me, which is from March of 2018, so just about a year ago. I was working on this, finishing it up. And this was the Make Your Mark canvas for that month. And it features the butterfly. And the butterfly has, beautiful meanings and symbolisms. They're such ethereal creatures. They, flowers, for example, only live a couple of days. And butterflies, some butterflies are the same way. They live just to reproduce, and then they pass on. So they're very ethereal creatures. And the message that really resonates still with me about the butterfly is that of becoming who we truly are. And also of the resistance that we have to becoming to who we truly are, because throughout the life cycle of the butterfly, when the butterfly is a caterpillar, within the caterpillar there resides the blueprint for becoming the butterfly. And yet the caterpillar's body sees that blueprint as something foreign that needs to be destroyed. So for the whole life cycle of the caterpillar is actively trying to destroy that blueprint of who, the butterfly that wants to become, that wants to transform. And I think that's just a beautiful metaphor for how we approach so many things in our lives. Our egos are constantly struggling, and we resist, oh my gosh, everything, right? We always want to be something that we are not. I guess it's almost opposite of the butterfly, because the caterpillar's got this thing inside of itself that is who it truly is, that it's fighting against. And I guess we are kind of fighting against ourselves too, because we have all these ideas and these stories that aren't true, these beliefs that aren't true, and they all keep us from knowing who we truly are. And when situations arise that make us uncomfortable, which usually come into our lives to help redirect us, to help us find our true path, find who we are here to become, we resist them. So we have all this energy going into fighting against it and wanting it to change, instead of just allowing it to be. But with the caterpillar, and it's the same with us, But the caterpillar, there's not the caterpillar will never win. That caterpillar will never be able to kill that essential blueprint inside of itself for who it's here to be. And likewise, we cannot kill or extinguish our soul and our soul's purpose, which is why if we ignore it and continue to ignore it, we get a more and more urgent feeling of needing to find the purpose and the path and the passion in our lives. And we feel more and more disconnected from spirit, because we're disconnecting ourselves from the soul within us, the who we truly are, who we came here to become. As always with this series, I encourage you to discover what the specific message and meaning of the butterfly is for you. And one of my favorite techniques for doing that is to simply start writing about the butterfly. Something else you can do, just start reading about the butterfly. Research the butterfly. Is there a butterfly that's always attracted you? Do some research about it. Find out about its life cycle, its habitat. See what messages.
So with that, I want you to actually research more topics than just the butterfly. I want you to first brainstorm about yourself. Who are you? What are some of your characteristics? What are some of the things that happened to you in your life? And start putting them down, writing them down into a mind map. Now, this doesn't have to be quality writing, such as big, long, extensive paragraphs. However, I do want you to write down your emotions while you have engaged in an experience, or who you are. So this is all about what makes you you. What is your history and what are your aspirations? So if I were to take myself, I'm a mom. And what are some things that represent mom? Well, that's womanhood, caretaker, love, calmness. And from there, I want you to start thinking about images as to what you could incorporate into your artwork. I'm going to then bring this over. So your objective is to explain semiotics and connotation relationships by use of creating a digital design and artwork. And then I want you to justify your personal digital artwork's use of connotation and semiotics through a personal critique that you will be uploading into VoiceThread. And what will your artwork be? What are some images that you will place inside of it that helps you understand who you are as a person and where you fit into this world, and how we can help each other by explaining our personal artworks and our relationships with each other, and how we can make a better place.